welcome back to the A Show with the Kings Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Justin, here with Meelz. At the end of September, it's almost spooky season, man.
I have no. Today's been a day,
Feeling?
you know.
I have no feeling for. Well, it's been a week. Sorry,
it's been a week. It's been a long experience, but definitely today is. I don't like coming back to work and things aren't done. Maybe that should be office hours today.
Well, who wasn't doing their work?
So, at my new job, we have these things called mental health days now. I'm designated.
Yeah, we have too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, for the people who aren't aware, I'm designated one mental health day per month. So I can take the day, don't have to answer emails, don't have to open Slack, which I definitely don't on every occasion. I don't respond to texts. I don't respond to Slack. I don't respond to emails. I just go on and do my day. And yesterday I went on a run and then just kind of like walked around a little bit. That's kind of my own mental health scenario kind of vibe. So yeah, came back to work. I left like notes and like Google Docs and all these other things like, hey guys, could you work on this while I'm gone? I'm not going to be in on Monday, but the thing that we have is due on Tuesday. So could you work on that? Oh boy. Guess how much was worked on?
0.
Absolutely none. So this morning I log on and I'm just like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, you really got to be like, I can't believe that I have to really like essentially like go in and kind of like work on stuff. And I have like, today's a busy day, so we're getting it in while we can. So just for forewarning for everybody, there will be no exclusive Patreon segment today. We're kind of just getting this in while we can. But this has been a morning. This is essentially, I brushed my teeth 5 minutes before we recorded this. Why you needed to know that? Why?
I wouldn't have admitted that. Yeah.
Like that, but that's how busy my morning has been, right? Like I woke up in the bed, checked everything, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to get started on this because we have to do a show today. I have a couple other meetings today. I have other things today. But at least, listen, you're getting minty, fresh breath myself for the podcast. It's not like you're getting stank breath meals. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like at least give me that.
So every other week we get stank breath meals.
No. Before every other week, I'm very much so first thing in my morning. I mean, every other day, to be honest with you. But it's just like when you gotta like hit the ground running and do so many other different things. I'm like, bruh. And then people using the bathroom, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's a process. How's your day been thus far? Oh, you just started, so you don't even have a day yet.
Yeah, I mean, got up. Get some Apple Jacks. Probably bad for me, but they're delicious.
Is there a cereal that is good for you?
No, but like when I got cereal over the weekend, I was like, this is so bad for me. But I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, like, who cares? You're rich. Who cares?
No, you're rich. Like Meelz, one thing about you is that you act like you don't get no money. I saw you get them taxis.
You saw me what?
I saw you get them taxi ones.
Because I returned the other sneakers.
I saw you get the taxi ones.
Well, that was luck. So I'm very happy that I got those taxi ones. So shout out to me. Did you get them?
I mean, yeah, but I don't.
All right. Stop.
I don't be showing off my wins. You know what I'm saying? I get them and I roll back over. Well, here's my thing. I didn't actually get them off sneakers. I just paid resale for them. And you want to know what the resale was?
What?
$180.
Yeah. That was the most mind-boggling thing for me. I was like, yo, these are really nice sneakers. Like, what is it? Are they because they're yellow?
No, I think it's because there have been so many, like the actual sneaker resale, and this is week 2 that we're doing this. The actual sneaker resale has cratered because of like, we're in a lightweight recession, but we're also like, people are holding
I thought we weren't in a recession. I thought we didn't feel in recession.
They are. Shit. Recession for who? But anyway, the sneaker game is in a lightweight recession where it's like a lot of people are holding on to their pairs. A lot of people are like kind of being a little bit more smart about what they get. Like the 11s that come out December, I cannot see them going over retail. I see those being the lowest priced, like the lowest resale 11s that have come out in the past 4 years. Have you seen them?
No, well, maybe I
The
probably
cherry,
have.
the cherry red 11s.
Uh,
Here's the thing. You would have seen the 11s by now and been like, okay, I got to get them. That's how bad the actual 11s are this year.
I don't know. I think I'm off 11s now. I think after the Space Jams, I was like, okay, I'm good. Like,
We should after the cool grays. You should have all of them at this point. You know what I mean? They re-released all of them at this point. So after the cool grays, like you got them all. And I think what happened with the taxis is that this is going to be a shoe that in the long term, in the long tail, the pairs will dry up, even though they've been released like crazy. But the pairs will dry up, and they'll become. I think they'll become not as big as the shattered backboards, but you know, not like a crazy uh Travis Scott type price pair, but those seem to be the only pairs of shoes that are moving. Like I can see the taxis being like a $400-$500 resale in a year, but not right now. Like if you have not got the taxis, you need to make a move on them right now while the prices are low. I got them for resale of StockX, and it was only a $10 more than what people got them for on Saturday morning.
good for you, man. Listen, you finding all that stuff and managing to save a quick buck while you can.
I did not
Recession
save a
proof
buck. I
guy.
paid the same. I paid the same. I might have paid more bucks than y'all did because I had to pay the damn StockX fee. But I just said I decided I'm not even going to disappoint myself on sneakers. I'm just buy the resale,
Well, listen,
and
that's
I'm going to
sneaker
do that
talk.
for the ones. I'm going to do that for the lost and found ones too. I said I'm not playing these games with you niggas. I'm just going to buy the shits right now.
I love that. Okay, all right, fair. Listen, fair enough.
And about your work, I think one thing that we all forget right now is that people are I think that I've come to a point where it's like some people just don't take work that seriously, and I think that I work with a really great team in my job, and they get shit done to a point where it annoys me at how good they get shit done. So you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's either they're too on it or they're not on it. So you got to kind of find a happy balance between it, because I don't think I have a happy balance right now. I'm just like, bruh, why are you still up? Why do you
No,
care?
yeah, no, I have a great team that I work with. It's just like in this situation, it's more so I hate coming back to something not being like anything being done. Like just not like I made sure I had all the work done prepared before I went on this thing. So the least you can do is like, oh, okay, let me switch that around. Oh, let me switch this around. Blah blah blah. None of that. So yes, I was very annoyed, but you know what? I have since I'm working on it. Not my annoyedness because I'm still annoyed, but
Working on your anger.
no, I worked on what I needed to fix. The piece I needed to fix. I also have a very late meeting today, which I'm not happy about either.
I hate those. Why are you scheduling a meeting at 4 o'clock?
Bro, I have a meeting at 5:30.
I think there's like a good 3 hour.
And I get we're a
Sh-
bi-coastal company, but relax.
oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
relax. No,
Nah,
no.
you can't fight that. You can't fight that, Meelz. You gotta live in that.
I'm trying not to, but I kind of want to say like, hey, can be like 5 o'clock I can do. 5:30? Come
Mm-hmm.
on now. 5:30, as soon as the meeting is done, my laptop closes. Like I'm not following up on anything. I'm not going to search anything. I'm not going to write down anything. It's like and we're done.
What was that?
That's the sound of my laptop breaking as I as I smash it.
So, all right. Well, as Meelz said before, we're going to give everybody what we're going to talk about. Usually, we kind of keep AEW talk to Patreon, or we do like we actually have a lot to talk about, just in terms of, and I want to go long form on this, just the contract stuff, and we have some other stuff for news this week as well, but it kind of spins off of Malakai Black. We had talked about this about 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
No,
That
Malakai Black was last week. Might have been last
was
week.
okay. It might have been last week where
We
it
knew.
was
Let me shut up.
yeah, like we talked about his post and how how respectful it was. We wished him the best. We said, if we're gonna take some time off for himself, then that's what it is. So literally hours ago, he goes to Instagram Live. It would seem to be just like I just found out about something Instagram Live. Is that what it felt like to you?
This was Instagram Live, so clearly he watched Raw because it seemed like he did it after Raw. But yeah, nah, this Instagram Live was like, maybe Tony watched Raw. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Actually, you know what I think it was?
What?
So they've been doing this White Rabbit thing, right?
And people think it's Alistair.
People think it's Alistair because they dissected the code and found the 2 lines in it that says, no man shall ever be the, no man shall ever be thing. So he probably got a call from Tony like, yo, what's going on here? You've not been officially released or something. I don't like how this is spinning out. And then he had to go on live and clear it up. Or he thought it would be best to go on live to clear it up because he's a man who likes to clear up things.
So he goes on. And here's my thing. I'm questioning whether this was just a situation where he took it back, or, you know, like potentially
did we misread that? Like, I don't get it.
No, I don't know. Here's my thing. Yesterday was an odd day, right? It started with, in the most unlikely places, because you know AEW uses the media to kind of push their agendas, like, and that's just clear. It seemed to me when Brian Alvarez had a video, I don't know if you saw this, he said, well, if you're signed to a contract, you're signed for 3 years, you're not going anywhere, or something like that, right? Which is, we're going to get to that in a second. But that comes out. Buddy Murphy says then, or whatever his name, Buddy Matthews says, I'm actually not gone. He goes back on every reporting and says, I'm actually not gone. We weren't even going to talk about him being gone because I didn't care.
Yeah, no,
he goes back and says, well, I'm not gone. I'm not gone. I'm actually staying. I'm not going anywhere. That happens. Raw goes off the air. Aleister Black goes on live and says, well, you know, actually, I'm not released and I'm going to be back on TV pretty soon. This is the same guy who a week ago had a post saying he was promised things that he was not given. He was unhappy about it. He was taking some time for himself. And basically, unless we misread it, he was done.
It seemed like he was done. All indications was like pointing he was done. I think even the news reports was leaning in the direction that he was done. People saying like, oh, he said bye to people in the crowd, or like bye to his friends in House of Black, or something along those lines. Like, everything reported he was done. Everything was leaning towards he was done. So when this live comes out, first of all, I mean, I'm not even going to say like, I didn't really like, not that I didn't care, but I was like, oh, this is very interesting. I guess you're stuck. That's kind of how I like rattled it out in my brain. But nah, I legitimately had to take a look at it back and be like, yo, we didn't read this wrong, right? Like, clearly you wouldn't be doing, and you wouldn't be posting multi-page Instagram posts if you were staying, right? Because why would you need to?
That's like a goodbye. Like, right?
Why would you need to do that if you're taking time off? Like, why would you need to address taking time off in a way that and also your issues with the company and things like all this other stuff just for time off? I don't know.
So he does all of that. And then there's a report from Meltzer on one of their podcasts this morning that says that there's a new doctrine. Meelz, have you heard of this doctrine?
I like that it's called a doctrine.
It's not a doctrine that nobody's getting released from the company, which he's made very clear in the recent days. And this doesn't mean that no one will ever be released, because there's certain situations where this rule will be put to one side, such as when
Bobby Fish rule
or Jimmy Havoc. But the main rule is that talent would not be getting cut, and that both Black and Matthews are going to probably be back on TV way sooner now.
This is crazy. That's a tough beat, man.
This is crazy. This is like 7-day turnaround of this. Right?
All right. So the question for me is why? Why aren't talent being released from their AEW contracts? That's the big question that I feel like Not a lot of people are asking; they're just kind of reacting to
Mhm.
this news, and they're reacting in the way of like, well, he signed a contract, or they're reacting in the way of like, yo, what the fuck? But like, why? I'm more interested in why this is happening, because I think it'll, I think it'll tell us a lot about the Tony Khan's current mind state and the state of AEW in the wrestling business if we figure out the why. But speculatively, so not confirmed, what would you think the why is?
Because he doesn't want them to go to WWE. But that would be here's the strange reversal of fortunes, right? The strange reversal of fortune is that was the very reason why WWE was keeping people from getting out of their contracts and paying them way above scale 3 years ago, right? And then they had to let those people go because they were their talent roster had gotten so bloated. So
Right.
if that was your fear back then yes, like that that's just how a business does it. I feel as though this is more reactionary on both ends. I feel like for the wrestlers and for Tony Khan, where it's like, okay, these wrestlers see that Triple H is back, and Tony's like, oh, hell no. You can't go the other way. You can't go back that way. You got to stay here. You got to stay here. No. It doesn't work that way. It was okay when I did it, but it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not okay when they do it.
It's okay when WWE is hoarding. No, it's actually not okay when WWE is hoarding.
It's never been. It's never been. But my thing is this: like we have really kind of did a full circle here, where we're back at the same argument that we were at in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where we tried to make sense of it. We got upset, but when we said, this is what businesses do. This is how they do it, and people got upset at a lot of people for saying these things. There was calls for a union. There was calls to Andrew Yang. There was calls to the government, to Joe Biden, all types of people to save these people out of their contracts. And I'm not really seeing that now, Meelz. Why do you think that is?
Because it's AEW. And I feel like, I don't know. That's a good point. Why aren't we seeing this now? I really do feel like a lot of it is just because it's AEW, and it's why would they? Why would you want to leave such a place where your freedoms and all your creative things are so explored in various different ways? Why would you
Free
ever
Ali. Free Ali. Hashtag Free Ali was something that we saw for about 6 months last year, almost, I think. And that was a thing where people were contacting people, they were making threads, they were doing all types of things. So my thing is this: if you know, because here's the thing, the rabbit is out of the hat, so to speak. No pun intended also, right?
Hey man, we can't talk about rabbits with this guy.
We know that Aleister Black is not or was not happy. Dave Meltzer says things had been mended after or before All Out or something like that. I'm like, how?
That doesn't make any sense.
You guys were all but saying that these people were gone and that there were more people that were trying to leave. Who was trying to plug these leaks, and who was trying to get this to me, this is why wrestling journalism to me is at its worst place. And I knew it was going to happen when there was going to be bad publicity by AEW. No company has good publicity all the time. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. No matter who. This is why you do not, put them on a pedestal in any way, shape, or form. They will disappoint you, right? WWE with Saudi Arabia, WWE with the releases, with them, the shady shit that they do, the Vince shit, which you have a right to be upset about this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With AEW, it seems as though whenever there's a bad, something bad that happens in the company, there's about 18 different articles or people, whether it be Alvarez, Meltzer, Sean, whoever, that are there with a source out of nowhere that says, oh, no, that's really not the case. How many talent meetings have they had in the past 3 weeks that we had to know about? We don't need to know about these. Why do we know about them?
I feel like, especially the reporting on this, I mean, it's very, very strange, and kind of, and just the fact that he's not really granting to me, keeping someone that you don't even highlight that much anyway in a prominent role right. in your company just to have him. And I think a large part of this is you have to kind of attribute some of this to Cody, right? And not necessarily that Cody was released or asked for his release. He just wasn't re-signed. And then he goes over to the WWE. He looks the best he's ever been. There's a regime change now, so he's going to look even better. They're selling belts. AEW ain't never sold no damn Nightmare belt. They're selling
the weight belt.
The weighted belt, by the way. Not sure if I'm gonna buy it, but it looks cool. But here's the thing with that. Whether I said this in the chat, whether it's 2022 or 2026, if WWE gets a hand on them, they're gonna look better than they did in AEW.
That's just the long and short of it. And now you got somebody who actually cares about the guys that are coming back. I mean, and we're gonna talk about it like we get to SmackDown ratings and when we get to SmackDown itself and Raw too. It's like it's night and day, and you're starting to see the differences very clearly in how these talent are presented. And they're presented a lot better in some cases than on any other show they've been on. The thing is that I don't think Tony wants another Cody situation. You're absolutely right, Meelz. He does not want another Cody situation because they did not hear the last of it after WrestleMania this year.
No, not at all. I mean, he came out at WrestleMania. That was the biggest entrance they've ever. It was, and the fact that they could do it again. Aleister Black suddenly shows up at the Royal Rumble. Aleister Black suddenly shows up at WrestleMania. There was talks initially that, yeah, he was released from his contract, but there would be the waiting time of 6 months before he would be able to actually go anywhere else. And I thought that was crazy. But then I was like, whatever. He's getting out early from his contract, like a number of years. So I guess they're going to do whatever they have to do, even though there's no like, people were talking about tampering and people were talking about contract situation. There's no tampering in professional wrestling. There's no contract.
Should we call Greg to see it? Should we call Greg to see if this is lawful?
I mean, we can, but I don't know. Does he? All right, we'll see. Listen to.
Well,
I'm sure
we can get him on next week. But like,
okay.
I think that like it's just really fascinating to me every aspect of what has happened here, and no one is saying anything about how weird this is. Aleister looked like he had been, like when I looked at the clips from it, it looked like he had been told to do that last night.
It seems like, yes, I feel like he was told to clear this thing up, and not, or maybe he felt like he needed to clear it up. But either way, it feels like the dialogue has shifted in a week, and it was seeming like from the way he was putting it, it's like, oh, I was never going to leave. Who told you I was leaving? And I think that may be true. He never explicitly said it, but just the way you were going about things in terms of this written thing. You talked about your issues with the company and being promised things and not being. I don't even think he pointed out that they were resolved. Like it didn't.
No, they weren't. Like now we're hearing a week later that things were mended, but I thought y'all had the hella sources. Y'all had the great sources. This was your guy. This was your man's. Whose sources is whose? Like I'm seeing so many things about we got to clarify it. Sean Sapp is pissed off online. He going at Malakai going at him. He tweet. You see the tweet and delete he said that he put out there?
I saw the tweet and delete. It was
the tweet and delete where he was like, don't make me talk about how you just told a WWE talent that you wish you could be there and you'll be there soon or some shit like that. This ain't journalism. This ain't like Meelz. I ain't go to school for this.
The text game.
Yeah, like I didn't go to school for whatever this is. And that's my thing. Like I don't know what the hell is going on. This is just seeming like people just doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like this is legitimately like I mean we could even go deeper with I ain't gonna go there, man. If you don't think I should go there, I'm not gonna go there. Because it crosses paths with a cause that I think is really positive. I don't want to like make it not seem positive.
No, don't do. Yeah, no.
But I think that it's real odd how many hosts are, and let's be completely clear, right? Let's be completely honest. Let's put it flat out. Have relationships with people in the company. Have a relationship with an artist that works with the company often, and will be working with the company very often. I have a relationship with someone who works on the games of this company. Never does that actually mark my I don't even report. I'm just a host. You know what I'm saying? I don't even report, but it doesn't mark my opinions on anything. I still say what I feel about WWE. I still say what I feel about AEW. That's just what it is. I just think it's really funny how no one says anything when it's obvious that a lot of things are being pushed through a show or a person or an outlet that makes one wrestler look good and gives him way more media attention to put him on a pedestal that like he might not even really be at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Puts him in positions, and nothing's wrong with that. We're supposed to look out for each other. We're supposed to look out for each other, but don't do it be his brand manager, be his PR. You can't be a host too. If I work with Ralph and he's doing something, I do that under the guise of, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm not woohoo when he do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Woohoo! I can't breathe. What a moment.
Okay. All right.
Woohoo! I can't do that. I just gotta be real today. Like y'all know, y'all love this show because it's real, right? Y'all love this show because it's real. You love it because I say real shit. This past 2 weeks is nasty. It's nasty.
It's very nasty.
It's real nasty. Shout out, you know what I'm saying, to the good things, but on the other end, it's some real C-level, B-level shit going on. Right?
It's very nasty. I take a situation similar to that actually happened last week, right? So we get these reports before Grand Slam that Paige had actually been in discussions with AEW over the summer.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And I was like, oh. And then on the AEW Grand Slam, she debuts during the show. And I could feel a debut was coming because everyone positioned themselves and started looking towards the stage and stuff like that. And I felt like and to me, I was just like, this is clearly something where it's like, please do not spoil our surprise, but you can at least say this.
No company should be telling you. No company should be telling you not to. If your name is,
I don't want to say it's not confirmed that that's what happened, but that's what seems like happened because there's no.
It's happened more than once, Meelz. It's happened more than once. We don't know if Jonathan Gresham's going to be there. He was there. We don't know who bought ROH. We don't know what the deal is. We don't know what the announcement is. We said the announcement on this show. If I say this all the time, if I know, I'm nobody. If I know, they know. Because that means I'm probably 25th down the line. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
If I know, they know. Fucking, come on, man. Let's just be real. Let's keep it 100, man. Stop it. Stop it. Like, because here's my thing. Like, not even music journalism, which is the nastiest shit I've ever been a part of in my life. They have some semblance of journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
Music journalism is the most co-opted shit on earth. They do not do shit like this. Podcast hosts on music podcasts do not do this at all. Now they might do some weird shit with Drake or Southern rappers or rappers who get arrested, which is corny, right? That's the worst thing I see with them. Right. Pitchfork, all that shit. That was the worst thing I see. We seeing right in front of our eyes. We're seeing people play in our face for $5 a month. Man, in our faces for $5 a month, at least with us. And shout out to everybody. I love y'all. Spot Callers is going to be a double up next month. I forgot to say this at the top of the show. Life just got busy this month. We're doing 2 shows. We're going to do the show with the matches that we said last week on Discord, and we're going to do another show, possibly a Halloween themed show. So sorry about that. We're not playing in your face for $5. I'm just going to be transparent with you. It's not going to be what we heard that there could potentially be a Spot Callers episode, and then it just comes out. People are playing in your face for $5, man. $9. And people are taking it. AEW has exposed legitimately the worst of the community way more than ever. Way fucking more, bro.
And there are people who are going to defend it.
Game changer. Crossover star. I'm gonna tap on that sign when I see it, bro. Waka Flocka ain't a crossover.
This is so
you know what? You know when people heard when somebody texted me about the Trina shit, they laughed. They laughed.
Not at Trina.
They ghetto wrestling.
Okay. Trina's a queen.
She's a queen, but I'm talking about the company, Ghetto Wrestling. Ghetto Wrestling.
Drop another one.
Who, kid? Ghetto Wrestling. Shout out to the Acclaim winning tag team championships. I know they're over right now.
Over like Rover, baby.
I think it goes to show that if you supposed to be the real nigga wrestler, right? The real nigga wrestler, crossover star. I get all the dudes to come over to wrestling. I get all the black people to come over to wrestling, and you losing a chance to rappers. What that say about you, man? What that say about the company, bro?
What does it say about the company who
Meelz, they just say we did this last week. They the safe blacks. Can we admit that right now? They the safe blacks. They the safe blacks.
Drop a bomb, please.
They the safe black. And the bomb wasn't even supposed to come out today. They the safe blacks. Shout out to them, though. Shout out to what's his name? Bowens. I fuck with him in the ring. I fuck with him. Do I think he be listening? Do I think he be listening to real shit? Did he listen to I Never Liked You? That's his album of the year. Is he saying free YSL? Or any of them niggas saying free YSL?
No, but here's the thing.
Hey,
Here's the thing. I feel like there's all different types of rap fans. You don't got to say free YSL. You don't got to be Young Thug fans, Future fans. What I'll say about what happened was development, characters, people, even just doing stupid shit that AEW has laughed in the face from, even saying Scissor Me Daddy and Ass Boys and all this other stuff. It got over. And it got over way more than...
white people.
It got over way more than whatever you're thinking of or whatever you're attempting to do. Whatever you're trying to ploy, whatever ploy you're trying to make. Whatever connections you're trying to have, whichever things is getting more over. You got to make sure that the character is put first before you can do all these things. You can't be Mr. I'm bringing Who Kid Fab and all this other shit in. And then also
Fabulous. He was on WrestleMania, what, 18?
19. But I love well, no, he actually never made it.
Oh yeah, he didn't. It was rumored for him to be there. I saw somebody like
John Cena. I love Fabulous. So I don't even know. I like Fabulous. I like Fab.
We going up for that. We going up for that, man. We got the last of you said it yourself. We got the last appearance of the Migos.
Hey man.
Earlier this year.
The last appearance of the Migos on WWE it was on WWE television. I ain't seen him after that. I ain't seen him do anything after that.
But to circle back to what we were saying, man, the way this shit is moving right now is real nasty. And I think it's in terms of just like the way AEW kind of sets things up and no one says anything. You know what I mean? Like nobody says nothing. It would be cool if everyone was just like, you know what? Both these companies suck. Both of them. Yeah, I said it. Whoever's honking, I said it.
Yeah, listen. It would be okay if. Yeah, I mean, at both of these companies, I have things that I dislike about both companies. You know what I'm saying? And we're not afraid to speak about it. We're not afraid to activate, but to be co-opted, we've learned a lot about co-opted media over the last decade, not about wrestling. But this is nasty. This is taking it to another level. And the thing is, we're gonna be right because we're
always right. We're always right. Because the thing is that
maybe like 6 months down the line, people will follow.
Something big is going to happen to these people that is going to expose how they maneuver. There's no way you can continue doing this the same way each and every time.
Somebody's check will not get cleared. Someone will no longer be invited to scrums. Something will happen. Easily. It always does.
SmackDown ratings.
Hey,
Highest numbers since 2022.
I mean, we're in 2022.
I mean 2020. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
highest numbers in 2020.
Pre-pandemic.
2.5 million viewers on this show. You had Roman Reigns come out. I think at this point, if you just advertise him for anything, you're gonna get a bump.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt, he is the biggest star in wrestling. I don't care. There's no listen. You are not arguing this. There is no argument. Roman Reigns is the biggest star in pro wrestling right now. Is it time to put him in that Rock, Austin, Cena level? Is it time? Look at the ratings. Look at the
I mean,
sellout.
yeah, I would say so. Like, not even so. Ronda Rousey's supposed to be this big crossover star, right? And she's featured actively on the show. And I don't even think she brings in the things that Roman Reigns. It's just the presence of it and everything going into it is just completely different. And I think SmackDown's on a roll just in general of developing these characters and these stories that makes it must see no matter what. You can continue the storyline even if Roman is not there, and they have.
He's only there for 20 minutes this week. Ratings held. So the one, not only are they watching, they're coming in to watch him. They're staying. So you had and we don't even know. I don't even normally do this, but I think it's fascinating to watch this week's the breakdown of this week. I don't know if you saw it. Ratings stayed with Liv. They stuck around. Only minor drops. Braun Strowman actually brought them back to like the first hour viewers. Braun Strowman's pulling in numbers, bro. Why do you think that?
Because he's big. I don't know.
you can't hate on that. The guy, since he's come back,
no. I can't hate. I can't hate at all. I'm not gonna hate. Once we get to the shows, I'm not gonna hate. I promise you.
Yeah, Braun has been consistent, and from what it looks like, his return has been a success 3 weeks in. Like he's consistently brought people in all the way to the end. Like it never dropped below like 2.2 million on Friday. People are tapped in to this show, and that's a good thing. Raw had quite literally an aberration last week, having two. I didn't know that there were 2 Monday Night Football games. There was only one this week. I would expect that rating to bounce back slightly, but still really strong ratings for Raw 2. Triple H to me has really done his thing. He's really done his thing. Real quick before we actually get into shows, the Grand Slam week stuff. Cyrus was here on Friday. We watched the I don't know if it was a main event or a PWG match. There was nobody in the crowd. It was about 100 people.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Shout out to Ricky Starks.
I like Starks, bro. If Will Hobbs is really making money, he need to go ahead and he need to like get the money teeth. He need to get like the Roman Reigns package. That shit look crazy. I'm a teeth guy, bro. Like I look at your teeth like, yo, you gotta. I didn't know his shits was like that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, cosmetic. It's a looks business.
I agree.
It's a looks business. Like you gotta just tighten your shit up, man. Get some braces.
I agree. What I will say is that ramp. First of all, let's talk about Grand Slam week in general. Let's breeze through this because you can definitely hear more about this on the War Report. So make sure you guys tune into the War Report. I can't believe you guys watched it together. That's so cute. But
we just watched the main event. We just watched it. I had gone through SmackDown when he got back like from a movie. I had gone through SmackDown. I was like, okay, that was a really good episode.
Want to turn on Rampage? Man, what else is on?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I got back at 11. That shit was still on.
It was still on, baby. Come on. You thought it wasn't? I
had bust through SmackDown about 47 minutes. And so at 11:47, the main event was still on, so we were just watching it.
So let's talk about one thing. Very, very, I think probably the most important part of the show, or the most relevant part of the show. So, albeit, co-opted news or not, Saraya has returned. Paige to the company. There's a lot of speculation around what she will be able to do or what she will not be able to do. People wonder why Tony Khan would even sign her if she couldn't wrestle. People are saying like, hey, there's no way that she could be cleared. If she wasn't cleared by WWE, how the hell is she just going to be cleared in general What say you, sir, about Saraya and her return to the wrestling world this week?
More of the odd non-transparency. They're transparent when it has something to do with bad press, but they're not transparent when it has something to do with a legitimate concern. I mean, this is the same company that Jeff Hardy was allegedly out there drunk a couple months ago.
That's nuts, by the way.
This is the same company that Matt Hardy brains was splattered all over the ground, and he said, "I'm fine." Goddamn head sizzling like a fajita. I'm good, bro. This is the same company that not so recently Ricky Starks had a neck injury. They was making him work through. He kept saying he was hurt. Same company. I mean, the list can go on and on, Meelz. The list could go on. Sting was cleared.
I mean,
to work here.
Sting looks like he's having a great time. So I don't know if he's. The thing is, the major differences of this is that WWE would not clear her. That's what seems like the conversation was, and I feel like that's more definitely protecting their own, protecting their own thing. They don't want any.
What doctor do they got that WWE don't got?
I'm sure there's plenty of Listen, if I go to somebody, if I need to get, because I remember, because this was definitely an option at my old job, but and the school and the nurse at my old job told me this. It's like, listen, if you need to get someone to sign off from your FMLA, you can find a doctor who will do it, no matter what. There will be a doctor that will look at it. You can go to any doctor. You're like, oh, it's bad, but it's not I've seen guys come back from this all the time. I think you just need to be careful with the things that you go through. But
I found their doctor. I just got him. I just called him.
Okay.
You want to hear him?
Yeah, right. Sure.
I found the doctor.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Dr. Nick, this malpractice committee has received a few complaints against you. Of the 160 gravest charges, the most troubling are performing major operations with a knife and fork from a seafood restaurant.
But I cleaned them with my napkin.
Misuse of the cadavers.
I get here earlier when I drive in the carpool lane.
Damn.
What is wrong with you? Where were you from? Is this Virginia? Is this how they get?
What do you mean? I just found them. I just found the AEW doctor, y'all. This is an exclusive. You didn't even have to pay $5 for this.
Listen, Paige, Saraya, I watch a lot of wrestling in AEW over the week, and there wasn't a lot of women's wrestling. They literally had a 4-hour show that they taped and only 2 women's matches, which is insane. So get in where you fit in, because ain't gonna be a lot of fitting in. People are like, "Oh, this is a game changer. I hope she can change the company." I'm like, "Is she a EVP?"
I'm gonna pray for you, because when Britt Baker get down to it, and she gonna see food when she see you in front of her.
Britt Baker, I don't even know if her nose is broken. Her nose is definitely bloodied from, which again, after Ember Moon pretty much dropped herself on her face.
Had a 4'11 person doing power moves.
Yeah.
You ain't Taz.
And then poor Julia Hart overshot her table spot. Gotten barely any of the table. I'm like, God, I hope she's okay. Listen, there's a wrestling is inherently dangerous just itself. Absolutely. It's a contact sport. You throw yourself against a mat, you throw yourself off the top of a rope. There's a lot of dangers that could happen. You need to make sure, Miss Saraya, if you are indeed going back to the ring, that you put yourself in the most optimal position not to hurt yourself again, permanently hurt yourself. Because if it goes down, and if AEW is willing to sign off on it, it's like, we're not responsible for anything. Listen, you know all the costs. You wanted to get back in the ring, you're about to be fucked. So,
hey. I don't think it's going to be the hot take. I don't think it's going to be the injuries that take her out. It's going to be her views and with her boyfriend that's going to take her out.
Hey, very likely story.
Yeah, I don't see an injury taking her out. I think the proximity to her boyfriend with internet beef, her need to get into the middle of it, and all of that is going to be and then you have her without any type of handcuffs on what she can say, as well as, like I said, when Britt Baker's getting in front of her, I'm gonna let y'all finish the rest about what's gonna be said in them promos.
Right.
I can't see that. I can't see that being a good idea. But I'm gonna pray for you. I'm glad you found the bag. You know what I'm saying? But listen, no one's been wrong yet about what happens when you go to that company. No one has been wrong yet about what happens there. If your name ain't Britt, Mox, CM Punk, you ain't shit for real in that company. Drewski hands, throwing them up. Was that the biggest thing that happened on that show? I guess John Moxley won the title.
John Moxley won the title. Chris Jericho's ROH champion.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But you predicted it.
I did.
I was the wrong one.
I did. I told you. I said, listen, look who's holding the pure title. Look who's holding the I said this before too in the chat. I said the pure title was such an unpopular belt that ROH actually had to unify it because the matches just got too boring. Like no one wanted to watch those matches.
Yeah, well,
and I see fully a unification happening and Daniel Garcia having, like, Daniel Garcia's end game is not Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever. It is for sure Chris Jericho. And he's going to win that title and he's going to be shipped off on that weird ass show that has no TV, no TV presence, no nothing. He's going to be the face of that brand. That's going to be unfair because Jericho's going to move on to something else.
Well, that was AEW this week. unless he came for Trina or something.
White Rabbit stuff. Let's get that. I mean, WWE has surprisingly had very little drama, which is odd. Like they've been keeping their nose clean.
Happy, yeah. Everyone's apparently happy.
They've been keeping their nose clean. White Rabbit stuff. What say you? How do you feel?
Let me know what happens when it happens. I'm not following no QR codes no more. I'm not running up to my TV to scan nothing. I'm not going on no shifty website. You
can admit it's a good thing for the fans.
It's a great thing for the fans, especially at the live events. It's amazing. I'm not following it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I wait for the answers on Discord.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just show me what happens when it happens.
Solve it for me. Guys, I love y'all. I love y'all on Discord for solving it. You guys are amazing. I guess we can get into the shows. We've almost got to an hour off of just straight slander for an hour.
Where else would we be without it?
So SmackDown. We have season premieres coming starting next week. It's got a whole week of season premieres leading up to Extreme Rules, that's going to be a crazy week. How have you felt about them kind of keeping the momentum going and keeping things kind of exciting? Like we all know this, like the fall period all the way up to like Royal Rumble is pretty damn dour. Just like the middle period in the summer is pretty damn dour, leading up to things. How have you felt about them kind of keeping things fresh? I felt like more positive about what's happening in the future, knowing that we have a Survivor Series coming up with War Games, knowing that we have Crown Jewel coming up with a really big main event, and we have Extreme Rules coming as well, which seems like an exciting show on paper so far. What do you feel about how they've been planning these things out?
I mean, I think it's been really solid, to be honest with you. I was pretty initially bummed that we weren't getting a draft or anything of the sort, because I do feel like the rosters need a hard reset, especially the women's rosters. But I think over the last number of weeks, they've been managing to keep the course going and build these stories that are actually, enticing, and people want to see them, these matches that people want to see. So they've been doing a pretty good job, especially building up to the season premiere. Is the season premiere next week? I thought it was a week after next.
It is the week. It is
the week after next, because I think they're in Barclays the week after next, and
it's the 7th, isn't it?
I mean, maybe SmackDown is. SmackDown is probably the 7th. Yeah, SmackDown is the 7th.
No. I'm sorry. No, you're right. It's 10/10. You're right. It's 10/10. Week after next.
Okay. So, maybe SmackDown's is on the 7th, and then Raw's is on the 10th.
No, I'm looking at the. Oh no. You're right. SmackDown is on the 7th. Raw is on the 10th. Extreme Rules is on that Sunday, the 9th.
Well, okay. All right. That's a lot of wrestling. And they've been doing a good job. All I've asked is for them to make television that I want to watch. That's all I've asked for. And I still have my qualms at Raw, but SmackDown to me has been television to stay tapped into. What say you?
This week we had I enjoy both shows. I think this is the first time for me. Why I enjoy both shows is because even if you don't like the direction of Raw, like Raw has something for those people that like that type of shit. You can't say that both of these shows are the same. A lot of times they felt the same, with SmackDown trying to give you that same feeling that Raw did for a long time, but not really having the talent to do so. The thing that I think where we're seeing is that SmackDown is actually utilizing the strengths of its roster, even though the roster is not that big. They're utilizing everyone on it in some way, shape, or form. And that's what I enjoy about the show. And in Raw, they have the most people on the roster, but they're also introducing new players, adding more people in. There are two really strong through lines in story that keep intersecting, with the Bloodline coming in sometimes. And that's Judgment Day, who really kind of run the show. And that is the women's stuff, which is like kind of the B story to everything else. And everything runs through that. So I appreciate that. But with SmackDown, everything runs through Roman. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that goes. But I got to say, I really enjoy all the shows right now. I think they're really easy to watch. And,
it's not lost on me that once Corbin left, SmackDown became a little bit more digestible.
That's crazy, right? And we haven't seen him for weeks. And I know we heard the JBL tease about a month ago at this point.
That was him being written off. He's going to wake up, he's going to end up in NXT Europe.
I feel as though there's going to be a look change, and that's why a couple of people are off TV, because they're going to have a completely different look when they come back. So if Corbin comes back with hair, I'm going to be very mad. Can he get hair?
Good question. Very good question.
I think Corbin would be a real good foil for a babyface Sheamus if he comes back. I think that'd be a really good kind of brute.
I'm over Corbin. I'm over. He can stay wherever the hell he's at, to be honest with you. The show,
he's gonna be back. So I don't know.
But he takes up so much real estate, and he's just it'd be such a low hanging heel fruit, and I'm like, oh god, all right, whatever.
I didn't know you had so much hatred for him. I didn't mind him. I think this year he did a lot for me to put over.
I respect his ability and his character. I just don't like watching it.
What if he came out?
What happened?
What if he came out with a new character?
If he was in a tag team, I would like it more.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's how I would roll. If he was in the tag team, I think it would be better utilized.
We had a huge segment, 20 minutes long segment with Sammy and the Bloodline. We don't even got to recall it. I mean, everyone's really talked about it. It's been the most talked about segment of the week so far. Everyone pretty much loved it, even kind of the most staunchest haters of that stuff. And it was the right type of kind of attitude era bait, right? We don't do these types of segments often. More often than not, the past couple of years, they've actually kind of stunk. They actually haven't really hit the mark as they should. But You've got Paul Heyman, you've got Jey Uso, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got Sami Zayn, who outside of wrestling is just one of the best characters in any show.
Man,
you know what I mean?
A thespian. Come on, I could do an entire 40 minutes on that intro alone. How when you watched that? Did you legitimately feel it was over for Sammy? Because I did.
I felt that it was over for him for sure. I was just like, what? Well, I feel
like we've seen this before. I feel like we've seen it in movies, in shows, and stuff like that. Especially when he was like, "Man, take off that shirt," and Sammy's
I think the moment
and Jey Uso's like, "Give me the shirt."
When he ripped the shirt off, that's kind of when I knew that it was going to be, and I also think I didn't think of it at that point, but WWE kind of played their hand because they had shown off that shirt a week ago.
Oh, really? I didn't see it.
Yeah. That shirt had been on sale or it was on pre-order or something a week ago, but I didn't think of it. So I mean, it's fine because I didn't think of it until he threw the shirt at him. But I thought that, Jay was great. It's kind of making me wonder how they're going to, because my thing is this: Jay's not going to come around on the Sammy thing. He's not.
Maybe.
So,
you never know.
No, I don't think he is. I think it's going to end up being the undoing of him and some type of fracture, because it's always the Yoko Ono, and Sammy has to be that. There always has to be a Yoko Ono. There always has to be one, and Sammy will be that, because you want. I got to be completely honest here. making Roman face off against Logan Paul, he's not going to get booed for that.
No.
So there has to be some type of way that they're trying to make him turn kind of tweener at this point, right? Like there's no way he hasn't really dissed Drew. He hasn't really said anything like heelish in a really long time. He needs to win, but it's like people largely like that.
I feel like
you can't boo a team that looks this cool either. Like you can't boo.
But here's the thing. I feel like what they've done is something that shows typically do when it goes on for maybe we're in the 5th season of the Bloodline, right? Like we're in the 5th season and we're like, okay, we need to bring in some fresh faces. It's like 5th season of Fresh Prince. And he was like, okay, Nia Long. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring in Nia Long and let's see what's going on. Let's bring in somebody else. And that's what I think they're doing. I think overall the inclusions of Sammy and Solo Sikoa are just to freshen up the Bloodline because they're heading in dangerously stale territory. They're winning everything. So, and they're not even frequently on the shows. So you kind of got to bring some new people in to add a little bit of a new flavor, add a little bit to a new element, add a little bit of just more to this. So it seems a little bit fresher. Yeah. And drama. And I think it adds to it so much. That opening segment to me was probably the best opening segment I've seen in wrestling this year. Like, and this is in the same year where Vince McMahon comes out and said, "What up, niggas? Where we at?"
That segment was just like unreal. That was just, you could put that for just being unreal. You know what I mean? Like you just couldn't believe that it was fucking happening. But I loved it. I mean, Sammy is now officially part of the group, and Solo and he just like remember in the corporation where they had spinoff members like X-Pac and Kane were their own little thing. That's what this reminds me of. Where Roman's the head of it, you got the Usos there, you got Paul Heyman doing his own thing, and then you got Sammy and Solo as their own kind of people that are, they're able to work all the shows. Just a great segment that would lead to a match at the end of the night. Hey man, bravo.
Just good. Go ahead. Yes, let's go to Liv.
Liv Morgan's getting a little extreme. Had a match with Lacey Evans. Again, man, one thing you can say about Liv, they be giving her matches.
Hey, they be giving her matches.
She be working. Worked against Lacey Evans. I saw a lot of people that didn't like it.
I thought Lacey Evans' thing was a bang. I was like, no, she painted that shit on her forehead.
Yeah, that shit was weird. I was like, what's wrong? Did she have some? I was like, did she get punched in the face? I was like, what type of discoloration is on her face?
She doing anything to stick out on TV, baby. Yeah, come on now.
I don't know what character that is. At the end of it, she beats the absolute shit out of Lacey Evans. I said, poor Lacey. I said, you saw the run sheet today and said, damn.
Hey, man, listen, she going to end up on NXT Europe, man.
That'd be cool.
That's where she going to end up.
You can't do that to her. She got 2 kids, man. You can't do that to her.
Ain't nothing wrong with 2 kids. Bring them with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they like to know a little bit of a...
You're not yanking them kids from the Ron DeSantis mandated elementary school.
A little culture ain't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Beating beans on toast. She gonna start a listen, man. Anyway,
beans on toast anyway. Shit.
Liv Morgan, Extreme Rules match with Ronda Rousey. They're setting it up really well. With Liv kind of again. I think this match is gonna be real fun. I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. I think it's gonna be real fun. Ronda really kind of excels in matches like this, and I think we've never seen Liv in this type of capacity. So it's going to be really cool to see. You also had a really kind of cool segment with Ricochet and Madcap Moss getting beat up.
That boy took that ass whooping for what? And he threw himself into the thing. Listen, I like this. I like it. It's the constant thread of Sol Sikoa and Sami Zayn getting on the show, and also, puts Riddick Moss and Ricochet in positions where they can also be utilized. But I like the ass whooping during the show. Speaking of ass whooping, Los Lotharios hit row.
Yeah,
Los Lotharios apparently are not fans of their fits either.
I agree. I'm on their side. Los Lotharios were right. I like the through line through the show of them having the watch party. I'm not sure about these fits. Like,
I'm not sure you're having a watch party. I mean, I guess it's better than sitting and catering. Hashtag sitting and catering. It's like, okay, let's enjoy SmackDown while we're here. Let's get a little bit of the bubbly. Let's do a little bit more. But clear, like, I haven't seen CLE in so long.
Do you think they're ending the maximum male models thing?
No.
I think they're ending it for LA. I don't think they're
for
ending
LA.
I think they're gonna continue it with Maxine. I think the reporting from a couple months ago was right technically, but too fast for the story. It was too early for that in the story.
Well, I think just in general, I think Triple H says, okay, LA Knight will be better utilized in a different role, especially considering he can wrestle. I think this is as the maximum male models will go down as Vince McMahon's final project in WWE.
And they letting them down easy. They're letting these niggas down easy. They say we just gonna do a week run. Braun Strowman versus Otis. I fucking enjoyed this as just a hoss match.
It was good, and I hate both of these people, but it was good. I was hoping a meteor hit the ring, and everyone was destroyed except Chad Gable. But this was a good match.
This was great. Discus lariat from Otis. Otis was showing me some stuff I ain't never seen him do. Gave him a world's strongest slam, a really good Vader bomb. Braun had to bring out everything against him, and I thought it was like, this is how you utilize him to me. He is a destroyer. He should come out for the cheap pop. Thanks for coming to the show. Make the fans happy, and then move him somewhere else. He's an attraction, and he should always be treated as such, because that's when the moment when people stop caring is when they was giving him titles and shit like that. You can't do that.
And apparently, he can use a phone.
Oh, he got niggas' numbers. Who did he hit up in HR for Austin Theory's number? We're gonna get to that later.
Raquel, probably.
We get Gunther versus Sheamus 2 announced for the season premiere of SmackDown. I figured this was going to happen. I did not see any signs pointing towards these two having an Extreme Rules match. They didn't need to have one. It was better to give this match away on the season premiere. People will tune in. You can hype up the fact that, some people who don't have the network didn't see the Clash match. They get to see it this time. So give them some time. Give them 20 minutes in no rock. The main event between actually Dakota Kai, Raquel Rodriguez, it wasn't much to me. It was like a minute long.
Nah, but you had Shotzi came out.
There you go.
I don't know what she was doing.
She's a baby. Oh yeah, that was a weird segment.
She was dancing with her and Io were dancing, or what the fuck they were doing. Because I was like, what?
I was gonna say, like, if I hadn't watched Raw, I was like, you don't need to get it together, but she got it together on Raw. Okay. But Shotzi seems to be the baby face now. I think it's a better utilization for her. I think we've tried everything that we could with her as a heel. Like we said last week, the actual turn was cool. But actually after that, they had like nothing for her. And I believe she has some like personal issues that came up that kind of stunted the growth of that character. But as a babyface, if Aaliyah's injured, and it seems like she is, she's a good foil for that. And I think you start to kind of set up these War Games-esque situations, right? Where you have a lot of women that are going against Damage Control. So you're kind of wondering at this point now, Meelz, with October to go, who's going to be in that War Games match? And I think that's going to be the big question going forward. Main event, Usos versus Brawling Brutes. Banger. I mean, what else can I say?
Really good. Really, really good.
It made me feel like, and which is crazy, like it made me feel like even if it was illogical, that there could have been an upset here. Even if it made no sense, there could have been an upset between these teams.
And what's my man's name? Gotta give a shout out to not Pete Dunne.
Rich Holland. He
was doing good. I was not high on him, but he was called up because what is there to think? But I think the pairing of him with Butch, it's just work magic with him, man. It's pretty good. So yeah, that main event banged. The entire SmackDown show, I was like, okay, this is a good show. Minus the fireball spot, amazing.
Oh yeah. So another thing that I thought of last week when it looks like every match in Extreme Rules is going to get a stipulation, which is insane considering we had one Extreme Rules match last year.
Yeah. Oh well. I'm all hail Triple H.
McIntyre Karrion Kross is confirmed as a strap match. I figured this was going to happen. because you can't do 2 cage matches if you're going to have a fight pit, and you can't do a cage match where Karrion can't run and can't hide or something. So you do a strap match where, because the whole story has been Karrion keeps sneaking up on Drew, he keeps running away from him. That's how you get it so that he doesn't run away from him. I thought the actual fight segment was actually really good. And I think Scarlett was a couple beats off, and obviously like fire paper spots, I don't like them for the very reason why this one failed. It's too easy to fuck it up, and also it's too easy to hurt someone if you do it the wrong way. I don't need a bunch of reports about why it failed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was really weird that everyone wanted to focus on this botch. I do not care about why it failed.
No, I don't think it's needed to focus on. It's a fireball spot. Who the hell cares? We're not going to remember this.
Who cares? You know what Drew did that was the best part about that? He didn't sell it. So like that was the best part. he didn't sell it. He sold it like it missed, which it did. And they got up and they improvised, because I'm pretty sure the spot was supposed to lead to the choke. He said, let's do another thing that leads to the choke from here. Drew, good on you, brother. I hope you feel better from your food poisoning, and I hope you're like just fine physically. But this match should be really good. Monday Night Raw from Canada. What a muted Canada crowd for a sold out show. Like it seemed like they fucked with like 3 things on the show, but everything else they were just kind of like. And this has been Raw crowd, even for the really good Raw shows. It's just been kind of like, like Texas was really showing something a month ago, and these other crowds have been like whatever. I thought it was a really good show, full of good matches. You started off with a really long promo segment with Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka against Damage Control, in which I thought Bianca gave a really good. It really showed how much she's advanced on the mic and the confidence that she's had. She doesn't talk like any babyface on the roster, and I think that's why it works.
I think it was a really, really good promo, and I think Bianca's abilities can't be understated in any sense. I just feels like it's still too much of me for a foregone conclusion that she's probably going to win. That's what it is to me. Maybe I'm bugging, but I feel like there needs to be more leaning on Bayley's side. I mean, Bayley picked the stipulation, right? Or did Bianca did?
Bayley did.
Okay, so she picked the stipulation, but I mean, we'll see kind of how it goes. It's a good step. It's one match that I feel like her and Bayley have done nearly every type of match that you could do between 2 competitors. But a lot of matches fresh, leads to a lot of chicanery that could happen, and they would get a new ally by the end of the night, which I feel as though will play into the finish of that match in particular. But you had Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. It took a minute to kind of get going for me. This one did. Maybe 2 of the commercial breaks, it took a minute for me to get going. But once it did, you kind of see how good of a ring general Bianca is. She was leading that match, from start to finish. And there were just some really good spots here. I mean, I think just in general, it was overall good match. I had things going on during the match, so I didn't get to see all of it. But it looks solid. I mean, I think one thing I'm noticing is that Io, when she's in her alpha female mode, kind of works a little bit different than when she's in the tier mode with kind of like Bayley. I feel like my notice from like NXT to now, I feel like she was way more aggressive in NXT, but I could be wrong. Am I bugging?
I think it's a different role for her to be part of a group. But I think this is what's best for her in Dakota in terms of trying to introduce both of them to a wider audience. I mean, like this audience is way different than the NXT one. There may be a couple people in these cities that just don't know who she is, So
right.
You want to stick her next to a Bayley. I think it's up to her. Like Dakota has fully slid into the role of flunky. Not that that's a bad thing. Okay. Flunky. I'm not using flunky as a pejorative. Like it's what they have to be. They're henchmen,
Yes.
But Io, it's different for her. You're right. She's always been by herself, a singular member of her own squad, and it's taken her time to learn. And I would love to hear her adaptation process and working in big crowds, working in crowds of 60,000 people or more, working in cities every week and stuff like that. This has to be a new challenge for her. Like, and when I like kind of look at some of the struggles that we've seen on TV with her, just in terms of just like the way she's worked now, it's definitely noticeable. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering if that is part of the adaptation process of her being in this group.
I could definitely see it being the reason why. I mean, I think, yeah, that's usually because people have been really hard. I mean, yeah, it's been a little bit different, but I think she's adjusting to a new role.
Yeah, and that would be tough for anybody. You know what I mean? And I think that when we look at it, just kind of outside looking in, I think she's doing a good job. But I think like working with, I'm shocked they haven't ran the Asuka match like that yet, because I feel like that would be the one to let you see what EO is all about. And Asuka is definitely going to hit. Like Asuka's she works stiff, and I think EO likes to work stiff. And I think letting them work together will actually give her a little bit of clout. That could be.
They must be saying that from Brooklyn.
Gotta be like, because my thing is just like that would be to me, and I say this just because it's the first thing that comes to my mind. That to me could be the Gunther Sheamus of the women, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. I think, yeah, I think so. I think, what are your kind of like, who do you think is going, well, we'll save that for a prediction show. I was going to say, who do you think is going to take this match? But
I think there's a lot of ways to go, because I think if Bianca loses the title, you don't want her to get pinned. And that's why when I said like lumberjack match, I was thinking, oh, it could be a lumberjack match with a bunch of the women. They could introduce people, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it could be kind of a fuck finish, a screwy finish. There's way more opportunity for a screwy finish to me in a ladder match. And we'll see how this gets set up, next week as we go into the go home show. But I think that if you're going to have Bianca lose it and you want to see her chase it again, you want to say she hasn't been pinned for it, because you're starting off now with a stipulation. The next match is probably going to be a regular ass match. You know what I mean? Or some type of match where someone will have to get pinned. And you want to have the burden against Bayley that can you beat her and can you pin her? I think the ladder match is the perfect way to show like, oh, I won, but I had to have 10 people help and there was a bunch of shit going on and I just climbed the ladder to get it. So for right now, like I could see there is, to me, a game day decision that they could make where they could be like, okay, we want Bianca to win, or they could say we want Bayley to win, and it would make sense for either of those.
Absolutely. Okay. I could see that.
Later on the show, another through line of it is the Judgment Day, Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle drama that permeates through this whole show. We had a good match to me, and I didn't realize, Meelz, that they had not wrestled each other in almost 2 years.
Who?
Rollins and Rey Mysterio.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, I hope the hell not. They wrestled so much in 2020, it was ridiculous. But great match. Great match. I mean, I don't know. That's all I can say. I was like, great match. This entire show is full of good matches.
You still see the story. You still see the story here with Dominic coming out. He's still trying to set up, and the big setup here to me, I don't know if they add Dominic versus Rey on Extreme Rules. I just really don't feel like. I feel like that's a Saudi match to me between these two. A big time match. I mean, between now and Survivor Series, there's no more pay-per-views. I don't know if Extreme Rules needs it. I think they're pretty much good. Like the matches on Extreme Rules are gonna get some time. They're all gonna be long matches. But like I would book Rey Mysterio versus Dominic first encounter at Saudi. That's a big match that you would tune in to see. Absolutely.
No, you're right. And yeah, because there's not really any other. I mean, there's Survivor Series. Depends how they kind of go with there. I assume it's going to be a Survivor Series match with whatever Judgment Day is doing. So yeah, I would probably have to say Crown Jewel. It's interesting. I don't know. This is all very, very interesting going on, including with AJ, Rey Mysterio. It does seem like they're working towards Survivor Series, to be honest with you.
It's going to be so weird if they do War Games and Judgment Day, who are quite possibly like the second biggest faction in the company, are not in it. That would be really weird to do. Amen. Unless they have a 5-on-5 or a 4-on-4.
Amen. It's the Bloodline.
Oh no. I'm not saying that like
I know.
they don't put them over. I just think that they need to have a spot on this show because I mean, look at how they're positioned, Meelz. Like 3 months ago, they were like quite literally like the biggest jokes in the company. Right. And now they're actual killers now. Like they get shit done. You know what I mean? And I think that it works for them. You got Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens versus Alpha Academy. I think Johnny is going to have some time. He needs to have a little bit more to me because it's good to put him next to Kevin Owens, but he need a little more. He's a little bit too quirky Seth Rogen movie to me right now.
I feel like there's no
like KO is established and they love him. And he's from out there. That's his squad.
But like, what are we waiting for with the Austin Theory match? Like I'm like, what are we waiting for? Like if it's not Extreme Rules, then where?
Saudi. But then you still got like weeks to wait for that. So they might give it away on TV. It has to be something they're waiting for here. Because my thing is this. You can't you cannot really, give this match out there cold with no stip. Like my thing is like why have they avoided putting the briefcase on the line? You got one of the biggest big time wrestlers and you got Austin Theory and you're not gonna do anything with that. Like that to me is the oddest part about this whole thing is that like they have to give Theory some stakes because right now he's waffling right now, and I thought he was on a really strong roll from August on, and now he's just kind of there.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very very weird. Good lord.
We had Omos out there, did a squash, wondering where they're going. They did MVP did mention Braun Strowman.
Yeah, the big kaiju battle is eventually.
That could be fun. That could be fun. I mean, Braun works both shows, and I think it would work. I would be in for Omos versus Braun. My issue is that where does Omos go after? My big thing is
Omos go anywhere. Like to be honest with you, like where does he go? Like what does he do?
But I make this argument all the time, bro. Like, is there room for giants? And how do we position and slot these giants if you know you're not going to be able to put, well,
to me, the idea with giants is to make them a little bit more. You can't just keep them playing the same role as the monster thing because at some point, first of all, he's already been beat, so it's not even a big deal anymore. But like, you can't keep the same monster thing going. That's why you do see the Braun Strowmans and the Big Shows and the Kanes and the Undertakers all kind of like take a. And I don't count Kane and Undertaker as giants, but they're, I guess, anomalies. But you do see them, kind of, get these big. They need more to their character. They just need more.
Yeah, they do. A little bit more. They do. I agree. But my thing is that like if they're gonna do the big giant match, go to Saudi with it. Have them get in there, have a little 5-minute match. Huge match. Like I think that's to me that's more sensical to me than just having Omos doing nothing. I'm sorry, man. He needs to be a babyface. He needs to learn what it's like to be a good guy. He's never been a good guy. He's been there 2 years. He's never been a good guy. Can we at least try that?
I mean, I think it would be cool. Yeah. At least, yeah. Why not?
Like you've done everything with him as a heel. MVP's been a heel forever. Switch it up. Like that's my whole thing with it. Just switch it up. Like that's why I'm excited for the Braun Strowman thing. But to me, you can't put him as a babyface against Braun. Braun's like one of the biggest faces on either show right now. Like people love this guy. We had a huge debut. In that
I'll take a couple huges off of that. TBH. I don't know. I'm in the minority.
I say huge in that it was a shock. It was a surprise.
Surprising debut. I would call it that.
I say it's huge for the division because they so sorely need someone who can work like her. Candice LeRae. What?
I love Candice LeRae. Don't get me wrong, and these are always like bad words when you say this. I love Candice LeRae. Don't get me wrong. I don't even think she's like been established. I don't even think she was like super even properly established in NXT outside of the Gargano family, which it seems like she's not doing. I'm glad they put her on Raw because I think putting her on SmackDown, she would have floated in the same territory as like the 70% of the other women on the show. But with her here, it's gonna have to be more. Like it's gonna have, they're gonna have to do something with her, like, and just not a extension of Johnny Gargano, because they made a lot of, they alluded to that a lot during the show, which is great. Yes, they're a happy couple. They're featured on the same show. She's back. I'm very happy she's back, but they're gonna have to do a lot more with Candice LeRae because she has been given largely nothing, in my opinion.
Listen, I think there's a bait and switch going on with her. A couple weeks ago, or it's been rumored for a long time, or maybe I heard this from our Discord, that Bayley's been pushing to get Candice back, pushing to get her back.
I feel like with Triple H, you ain't got to push that hard. Be like, all right, relax. Like, I'll talk to her too, nigga. I text with her too.
Still got to go through the big con. So
yeah, big con.
So I don't know. I don't know if I could say for sure that was a formality, but I think that her coming in is a bait and switch because she could potentially be someone who could help Bayley get the title. She came right out and said, "Hey, fuck Bayley." I'm like, who does that? I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, that's a lot of energy. First of all, Bayley got a lot this week. She got told, like, what were you doing for 2 years? Rehabbing? And I'm like, that's exactly what she was doing. Like she tore
niggas had smoke for Bayley this week, and I thought it was funny that she came. But I was like, that was a little bit too obvious to me that it seems as though there's something going on. There's some cahoots. Also, former NXT woman, by the way,
absolutely.
Is in Candice LeRae. It would make sense for Bayley to round this team out at 4. And I think damage control with Candice. I think Candice just works better as a heel. I thought that she just was amazing as a heel in NXT. And I think that goes doubly here, especially with Bayley. I think you say right now, you're right. They didn't give her much. I'd say having her be kind of the second in command ring general next to Bayley is really where she would thrive at in damage control, as I see that this is a group that's going to be going long term in the future in WWE. But right. Meelz, I know you got to get out of here.
I do. I have to run.
So I got a special guest here. He came in literally in the clutch in the fourth quarter. MC Mark, what's going on?
Hey, get off me! Did I just come back from jail from this? I was in 205 Live jail for hours, and now they threw me back in here to do another episode?
Listen, alternate reality. I dragged you out the multiverse, and you're back here now.
I didn't expect this to happen. I was working on other stuff.
Well, welcome back. The music's on. 205 Live is back again. Meelz, we'll talk to you next week, brother.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Meelz, wait. Where's Meelz going?
Now you're back in my world, sir.
Oh, not again.
We got to close out Raw. Mark.
Closing out Raw is easy.
Okay, so we just talked about Candice LeRae. She debuted against Nikki ASH. Nikki showed a little bit of brokenheartedness at the end of that match there. You saw her take off the mask. Where do you think this is leading for Nikki?
I mean, just my own personal wants and needs. I would like Nikki Cross to go back to the Cross era, I guess you would say, as opposed to being Nikki ASH. If we do get some form of a Cross, I don't know about the face Cross that was teaming up with Alexa Bliss, but I don't know how deep you can really get into. It's kind of tough, right? Because as much as I want to see her put on back the black leather jacket and swing it around the ring and start going crazy and screaming, I don't know if that will translate to everybody else that might not want to go back to that Sanity era. But me personally, I want it.
You want to go back to Sanity era?
That same Sanity era, right? Just completely chaotic, insane, doing crazy bumps, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're a wild man.
Why not?
You're a wild man.
I don't know.
I think it would be more. I just want to see her win. I really enjoy her character, regardless of what she's doing. I thought she really had something, and they just kind of gave up on the superhero thing. I feel like a lot of characters are being redone and kind of restructured on this show. And Nikki is definitely someone who sorely needed a rebrand for a while, as has Dewdrop in terms of just being rebranded. But as far as Candice LeRae, what do you feel about my theory of that she could potentially be a double crosser and could turn on Bianca and the girls to help Bayley win the title?
Oh, I would love that, because when she came out, I originally thought she was going to do the arms and she was going to be the Poison Pixie, but then it ended up, she came out all smiles, whooped Nikki's ass, and I was just like, okay, we're gonna face Candice for a little bit, but I would love to be able to have where we left off with Candice, how she was in NXT.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on. Next up, we had AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. To me, it's very interesting. Like Zayn continues to be one of the most intriguing characters in WWE. He has crossed so many paths, and to me, he may have kind of set up the field of people who could be going against the Bloodline at Survivor Series. Because right now, and I said this earlier in the show, what we're doing right now is, yes, we got Extreme Rules, yes, we got Crown Jewel. What we really want to know is what these teams are going to be, and we got to see how they intersect with all the other big squads on the show. So Damage Control is one team that has had beef with everybody on these shows. Bloodline now has so many beefs with that. Do you feel as though AJ Styles, because for me, AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre are a lock to me to be in that War Games match?
If they were, that would be interesting, because truthfully, within these next couple of weeks, I don't know where we're going to get. I don't know what we're going to get from an Extreme Rules perspective with the Bloodline, right? Like, I don't think we're going to see the WWE Undisputed title at Extreme Rules, or maybe even the tag team titles.
It's not. Well, that's the thing that's odd to me, is that the tag titles are not up for grabs.
Yeah.
Not to say that they need to be, but it would just be strange to have a card with no Bloodline. Granted, the women's title is the only title right now. The women's titles are the only titles right now that are up for grabs on that show, period. Which is like, I think that might be the first time ever.
Yeah, there's no Intercontinental title. I think that's going to be defended between Sheamus and Gunther on SmackDown on the season premiere. But
yeah,
outside of that, it's a low amount. It's a low amount of championships going to be defended at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, and this match between AJ and Zayn, so good, and he got time and a match, and again, like this is like a good opportunity to me to you could really do the AJ Styles match sometime in the near future. Maybe you do it on the season premiere on Raw with the Bloodline there. You do AJ versus Roman. That will pop a rating.
Have we brought up the details on what's happening with this big show that's at Barclays? I'm kind of jealous that I'm not going to be in Brooklyn for this October 10th show, honestly speaking.
We have not talked about it yet, but yes, that was announced. The DX reunion. This was officially announced. We had gotten a rumor of it beforehand, but it was officially announced on 10/10. It's going to be a DX reunion, and it's going to be the Bloodline on Raw. I would think that if you want to pop a rating that week, I know you don't want Roman working a whole lot, right? But he's got to do a match on one of those shows, in my opinion. There has to be on one of those shows, he has to come out and do a match. He's barely on Raw. Raw needs to pop a really big rating for their season premiere. SmackDown already has Gunther versus Sheamus. You could really slide in maybe the tag team titles onto that too. I would agree. I think Roman AJ would be a perfect slot for that 10/10.
Yeah, I'd like to see it, because God forbid Roman works. Oh, brother. Barely shows up. We're going to see him at Crown Jewel. Ain't seeing him on the shows. I'm spreading the agenda.
Doing this. We're not doing this. The agenda has to stop.
Why?
It has to stop. You had a backstage segment, or actually a post-match between AJ and Zayn. You had Finn. Intriguing storyline here as well. Finn and the Judgment Day asking AJ to join their team. AJ flicks off Finn. We're getting edginess back in the he jumps him, and then he's about to stump his head between the chair. I was like, oh, this is a 2K move. This is some shit Mark would do. And Finn stops, and he says, that's not what a friend would do.
I could have murked your ass, but I'm gonna be cool with it. I'm gonna let it ride.
Feel me? All right. See, that's some shit I would do for you. You wouldn't do that for me.
What?
You wouldn't do that for me. Main event time. Matt Riddle versus Damian Priest. Good way to get Matt Riddle back in the winning column, because this motherfucker, all he does is lose. Okay, but I mean, these two have such great chemistry. Obviously, they're friends. I thought this really worked for me all the way through. How'd you feel about the main event?
Yeah, it was definitely a big battle. Damian Priest really does give you these types of moments. Almost, I don't really want to, jump out with this too crazy, but Priest gives you a lot of underrated moments, I would say, match wise. At least for me. Like that United States title run obviously is his bigger talking point, but from what he has provided in Judgment Day, we're literally getting it like week by week as far as analysis of who ends up being the leader of the Judgment Day, and it's really based off how Priest has been performing.
I think they've been saying Finn is, but I feel like Damien's the one who talks more, and it makes more sense that Finn is. I mean, seeing as though we're gonna get to what happens at the end of the show, but it makes more sense in that way. But I think that again, I was telling Meelz earlier in the show, 3 or 4 months ago, these guys were looked at as kind of a misfire, a joke on the roster, and in just a couple of weeks, they are, to me. And I was saying this to Meelz too, like it's such a shame that. It would be a shame if Judgment Day did not have a place on Survivor Series, because other than the Judgment Day, these are the guys that have made the most impact in terms of being a huge faction that has really made an impact on the shows.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see it from SummerSlam, how that entrance got such a huge reaction. You could see it from Clash at the Castle of Dominic, joining them, and how that has been what's the best way to say it? How it has been received online, I guess you would say. So Judgment Day has definitely cleaned up what their reaction has been from a couple of months ago back to what it is now. It's definitely one of the hard-hitting factions, which I think Survivor Series, we are really going to get much closer to an area of a little bit of 1997, a little bit of gang rules here compared with how many factions that we have broiling out between Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of distractions here. But what happens at the end is that pretty much Riddle flips it all around, reverses Damien into a cradle for the pin and the win in 18 minutes. This match started at like 10:45, and I said, "Holy shit, they're gonna go to this." Like, they got a lot of time on the show to do this main event. What do you feel about the match? I was saying this earlier in the show. Raw is a lot about the work rate. SmackDown is a lot about the entertainment. And I tend to like that. I think that that's a really good way to say that to kind of give you something different for both shows. And both of these shows haven't really had an identity for a while. What do you feel about the two kind of dueling interests here between the two shows?
Well, I think even SmackDown can give you a little bit of work rate from time to time. Look at the tag team match that we just had between Brawling Brutes and the Usos. Even though that also did end up in dusty finish with Imperium, jumping out and interfering in that case, you do still get those big moments. Whether it's the intro of Ricochet having like a 10-minute match, or whether it's some main event that ends up being really nice. Whether it's Gunther defending his Intercontinental Championship and having a really big battle out there. I think even SmackDown, flirts with the work rate just as much as Raw even flirts with a little bit of entertainment from time to time in the backstage with Miz, at his house with Maurice, and ends up getting attacked from there. I think they flirt between both.
I didn't even talk about the Miz thing yet because I don't know where it's going at this point. Like either again, Ciampa wasn't even there this week, but I'm like, either you're gonna have a match or you're not gonna have a match. Like I think at this point, just go ahead and reinstate Loomis and just do this thing, because I need to know where this is going week to week. The gags are funny, but at this point, wouldn't Miz just be like, okay, let's fight? You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, reinstate him, Adam Pearce or whoever, and then let's have a fight. So I don't know where this is going, but that's definitely something that has been on the show for the past couple of weeks that I've just kind of been like, okay, that it hasn't been a low to me, but it's been sort of like, okay, let's wrap this up. After the match, they start attacking Riddle. All the Judgment Day starts to attack Riddle. Edge comes out, spears everybody, and Edge says, I said, whoa, wasn't your knee literally hanging together by duct tape? And now you're completely back. And he says, every time you try and take me out, somehow I come back. And that's why Extreme Rules, I want Finn Balor and me for the first time in an I Quit match.
I mean, they literally tried to kill him twice. So I think he does have a pretty big point here. I just love the Edge run, man. The Edge run to the ring each and every time. Same speed, same agility, same power in his run. It's always the same.
Yeah, no, it was, and again, first time ever. I can't believe it's the first time ever. This should be really good, and I think a win here over Edge would put Finn. They have never pulled the trigger on him, Mark, in a main event run, in a main roster run. They have never pulled the trigger for him. I'm saying this right now. You got to give it to him. You got to give this win to Finn.
Yeah. And I don't think it's even really going to hurt Edge that crazy if he ends up losing in an I Quit match. I don't know. I will say this. I don't know what will actually turn Edge to quit, because there isn't really too many things that you could. Well, from a Judgment Day perspective, I'm trying to think what they could really try and trick him in outside of just like taking a whole lot of pain. Oh, bring Beth in? Wow, that'd be crazy. And Rhea brings Beth in. Ooh, that'd be fire. Hold on.
Beth or Ray somehow doing something with Ray. If you don't bring Beth in, punishing Ray, and because they're such brothers and they're friends, putting Ray in that line of fire would make, I think, Edge do that, and having Dom be the one kind of, and then like maybe put Edge up for a concerto, and you keep hitting his head. This is dark. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But like,
I'm about to say, you're giving some crazy details in there. I was just like, damn.
There's a way you could do it
with Dom and Ray.
Yeah, you could. You really could. I think there's a lot of different ways you could do it, but I think you got to give this to Finn. I think you got to establish these guys. You got to give them that marquee win. I kind of gave Triple H some rope at Clash of the Castle because it was Edge's first time in the UK performing in 10 years. You wanted to send the fans home happy because you knew damn well in the next match you were not going to send them home happy because Drew was going to lose. So I gave them some rope. But here I say do the right thing and have Judgment Day get that win over Edge. But yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown and the show. I know you didn't hear the rest of the show, Mark. You just kind of slid into the final half of the show. But really good stuff here this week. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said earlier, there's going to be 2 Spot Callers episodes in October. I got swamped with a lot of different stuff. So we're going to be actually reviewing those matches that you guys wanted us to watch in our Discord for our Patreon members. And we're going to do a regular show review this month for you guys. Thank you, Mark, for sliding in and doing this on such short notice.
Absolutely. Does it mean that these 2 guards that are at the door are actually here to take me back to jail?
They're taking you back to the 205 Live set. We put AC in there now. We put AC in there now. So you'll be fine. But thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. And thank you all for listening. Until next week, for Mark and Meelz, I'm Justin. Peace out.